This is how I go about developing a basic rifle load. Using a trusted reloading manual, I look up a recipe for the given caliber I am reloading, in this case 223 and 5.56. Based on the function this round will serve, i.e. distance I intend to shoot the bullet, whether it's for hunting or target shooting, how much I'm willing to spend on components, etc., etc., I pick a specific bullet to load. Here I choose a 55 grain full metal jacket. For price reasons, they are sourced from Everglades Ammo. As the reloading manual provides data for a specific firearm, primer, and a 55 grain full metal jacket bullet from other than Everglades Ammo, I can only use the powder charges in the powder data as a guide. Additionally, the recipe is for 223, not 5.56, so this further amplifies the need to use the recipe as only a guide and develop my own load. If the reloading manual does not have information for the specific powder you wish to use, check the manufacturer's webpage, one example being hodgdon.com, for data. In this project, I'd like to find a recipe that is safe, functions flawlessly in my AR, and is the same regardless of whether the brass is 223 or 5.56. Based on the powder charge data I gathered, I picked a starting point that was close to the starting load, and I planned to load 5 rounds at that charge, increase the charge by 1 grain, load 5 more, and continue this pattern to the maximum charge I intend to load. It just so happens that due to the maximum load published for my powder and bullet weight combination, the last incremental increase in powder was only 0.5 grains. To meet my goal of having a recipe that is the same for 223 and 5.56, I plan on testing the same powder charges in Lake City brass, which is 5.56, and Winchester brass, which is 223. Now it's time to load the ammunition. Using my preferred small rifle primer, I load the brass that I have previously cleaned, deprimed, decrimped, resized, and trimmed. Then I charge the brass with powder based on the loading plan I previously developed. After that, I seat the bullet to the overall length listed in the reloading manual, which in this case is 2.200 inches. Since this ammo is destined for a semi-automatic, I apply a crimp of 1/2 turn using a Lee crimp die. To identify which load is which, I mark the brass with the powder charge. The brass head stamp tells me if it is 223 or 5.56. Now the ammo is made and I'm ready to test it at the range. I fire my rounds one at a time through my AR over my chronograph. I do this so that if there is something wrong with one of the rounds and there is a malfunction or a catastrophic malfunction within the rifle, it confines the explosion to just the one round that's in the magazine, rather than having a full magazine and taking the brunt of that explosion. When I close the bolt in this clip, it looks like something shoots out or is ejected from the weapon. But I played the clip in slow motion and it turns out it's just a perfectly timed bug to make me worry and think that something happened to my gun. I put this clip in to show all the data that my chronograph records. It records all the velocities in feet per second, the high velocity, the low velocity, the average velocity, the extreme spread of all the shots, as well as the standard deviation. When I got home, I put all the data I collected into my spreadsheet. The maximum velocities I recorded were below the maximum velocities from the maximum charges in my reloading manuals. So with this information, I feel comfortable loading at the higher powder charges tested in this load development. I was very pleased to see that the velocities recorded between the 223s and the 556s were very similar. So when it comes time to produce a large batch in my progressive press, I won't sort the brass, nor will I need to change the powder charge based on the type of brass. That saves a lot of time. So that's how I develop a load. Thanks for watching.